Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable, and this is my 20-mile race review of the Metaspeed Ray Tokyo. So in the Sunday just gone, I ran a 20-mile race in this shoe, and throughout this review I'll be letting you know how this fared in that 20-mile race. Obviously this is a really good basis to know whether this shoe will be good for some of you for a full marathon. You know, it's just shy of a full marathon, and I'll let you know what I liked about the shoe, what I didn't like about the shoe, what I liked about that race in particular, and what I didn't like, some event footage, so you can have a look at that Bedford Running Festival and see whether that's something you might want to do yourself next year, perhaps. Anyway, without further ado, watch the event footage and then tune back in for the full review of the ASICS Metaspeed Ray Tokyo as it helped me take on that 20-mile race. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. So all parked, ready for the Bedford Running Festival, actually, 20-mile race. Lots of runners already arrived. I got here quite early actually, and it's already car parks getting full. People had the same ideas. It's in a really nice part of Bedford actually. Longholm Way is the road. Just a very scenic part. Nice park, nice water features, barge boats. Yeah, these kind of places, these like little oases, beauty you can find all over the place. But this one, I particularly like this race because it's a nice atmosphere. It's kind of low key, but still quite nice. And you get some really good runners here because they're all marathon training for their autumn marathons. So expect some good times. Maybe not by me today, but we'll see. I've got no idea how this is going to go. It's come like a month earlier in my schedule than normal because I'm doing New York, and that's kind of a month later than Berlin, quite a bit later than Chicago, so we'll have to see. I don't feel entirely ready for a 20-mile race, but when are you ever ready for that, right? Anyway, let's stop rambling and moaning. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
guess the discount on that hoodie. Guess the discount. Did you say 10%? It's more than 10%. Guess the discount. Higher than 20. Guess the discount. Higher. Guess the discount. Higher. We have got 80% off of these hoodies. They've got every size still. Wow, every.
Yeah, you got it. I've got the Rays on again. The Ray Tokyos, ASICS Metaspeed Ray Tokyos. So we're going to see what they're like over this longer distance. The most I've run in them so far is 10k. We'll see today. It's a warm day. I'm getting sinking feelings about the weather, but there's not a lot I can do about that now, so just get on with it, Ed. And let's hope the Rays do me proud. I'm a bit behind in my marathon schedule, so this will be a good indicator, a good baseline to see where I am with just less than 2 months left before New York. But I'm not feeling up for it at the moment, but I'm just going to get myself into gear now, and I'll report back after the race. There'll be no race footage. I'm not carrying a camera around for 20 odd miles, plus it'd be pretty boring. Yeah, just at the end I'll do some summary of how it's gone in the race, and I'll let you know whether I think these are viable marathon options. I hope they are. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Time to get my number and bag drop. It's going to be a warm day. Already it's warming up. I'm regretting not packing some sun cream already. But there you go. Just got to get on with it. Right, let's get my number.
To be honest, I'm always like able to.
That would explain why there's people.
Right, so got my race number. Now find a table to get this pinned on, and then bag drop, then toilet, I guess. Or toilet and then bag drop. See you later.
The guy is inside of 1 hour 20. If you can start with 1 hour 20 or equivalent 20 miles, come forward now. So yeah, well done, 120 runners. Be brave, be brave, be brave.
Let's have it. So all done. Yeah, it was a tough one today. I thought it might be because I'm effectively a month behind this time last year when I ran this race in my schedule, because because basically New York is a lot later than Chicago, at least 3 weeks later than Chicago. So yeah, so it was a tricky one today. It's my first 20 miles actually of my training session as well, and it was a race, so it was difficult, but I got through it and I think I did all right. I think I did about 2 hours 14, pretty close to 2 hours 13 something. And I think all in all I've got to be happy with that. It's a really weird course. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the festival. It's a great atmosphere, you can hear all the music in the background and lots of runners, but the course, there's so many weird turns, doing multiple loops, out and back, U-turns. There was one bit where I ran past and I got shouted at, come back, do a U-turn, do a U-turn, and there's nobody there to tell me to do the U-turn. So you know, it was by grace of God that I actually completed the course, and you know, for those reasons things were a bit slower. You know, I've done this course before, so I should know better, but it's so confusing. I mean, even last year I think I found it confusing. I think last year the difference was I was running with more people. This year I was out on my own a lot, so made it a little bit tougher. But what you want to know is, did the Rays do well? And they did fantastically well. So let's have a look at them. So bear in mind, this was not all on tarmac. A lot of it was on grass, on compacted mud, lots of undulations, lots of those bridges over canals that'll get me ready for New York with those humpback bridges. So it was an undulating course, quite challenging in places, but you know, fair I would say. And they performed really well. They were stable enough, obviously really nice feel underfoot, kept me bounding along. It's a tough one. Are they quicker than the Puma shoe? I'm not so sure, but are they nicer to run in? Probably. So now I'll have to decide for the marathon, New York. It's a close one, it really is. It's between these two, unless I bottle it and go with the Hocker again. But I don't think I will. I think I could run with this shoe in New York, and I think I could run as well with the Puma shoes, Fast R3. So it's going to be difficult. But final thoughts, yes, the Ray, it took me 20 miles. It definitely could take me the marathon distance. Loved the shoe, really nice and bouncy. It kept me going when I got tired, and it wasn't that unstable. I had to keep up on my toes and forefoot, which meant I got a little bit of cramping in my calves towards the end. But that's just generally because of my fitness levels. I'm not quite ready for this 20-mile race yet. So I did really well, I think, just to get it done and get it done with a decent time. I'll have to find out how I've done on the age categories and overall. Didn't see loads of runners passing me, so I think I might have done okay overall. I get a feeling it wasn't quite a stronger field as last year.
just because last year I don't think we had the big half and the Great North Run on the same weekend, or I might be wrong, but I don't think we did. But anyway, we'll see. And yeah, I'll get back to you on you know, how I did in the age categories. But I love you all, and I'll give you the full review of this shoe, the Metaspeed Ray Tokyo. What a great shoe it is. If you're in doubt and you've got a spare £265 and you're a lightweight 4-foot runner, get it bought. You won't regret it. So light. See you later. Bye bye. Right, I'm with Fred today. Fred, you just done what race?
The 20 miles, Bedford.
Yeah, running festival, like me. And how'd you get on?
Okay, first time, yeah, longest race ever, so
yeah, longest
okay.
race. And you're gearing up for, sorry about the music by the way, you're gearing up for the Chelmsford Marathon, right?
Correct, yeah.
When is that?
3 weeks time? Yeah.
3 weeks time. Right, so in 3 weeks time, Fred is going to be running the biggest race of his life. Everyone, I want you in the comments to wish Fred luck.
Top 3 of the ladies event. We
He's going to
believe
smash it on you,
Victoria,
Fred.
Simpson Thomas, Ria
Right, you take care,
And follow the best running channel.
Yeah, thank you. Top man. I love you. See you later.
Big wheels keep on turning, carry me home to sing my king, singing songs about the Southland. Miss our family once again, it's a sin.
Alabama.
Sweet home.
There we go. Lovely jobbly. Much deserved beer coming up here. Quick beer, then I have to get myself home. Hello, Alabama. Let's have it. That tastes good.
2 hours 2 and 43. Ladies, gents, make some noise for Liam Strew. Awesome. Liam was our second placer today. 2 hours 2 and 43 in the 20-mile event. Great running. Well done to Liam. And we spoke to him earlier. Today's winner of the men's event in a lightning quick time, 1 hour 57 and 53. Make some noise for James Davis. James Davis, 1 hour 57 and 53. That is absolutely brilliant. It's quick maths. That's sub 6 minute miling for 20 miles. If you're wondering how quick that is, go out tonight, try running 1 mile in under 6 minutes. He's done 20 of those in a row. It's absolutely lightning. So we got up on stage Liam and we've got James. Liam second place and James took the win. 2 hours 2 and 43 for Liam. 1 hour 57.53 for James. Great running, both of those guys. Right, ladies and gents, since I'm up here, third and second place runners. So ladies and gents, we will call up in third place first of all in a time of 2 hours 30 and 35. Please make some noise for Victoria Simpson Thomas.
Well done.
Victoria Simpson Thomas, representing Bishop Stortford in the green vest, was our third place today, 2 hours 30 and 35. And ladies and gents, second placer today, 2 hours 27 and 24, was Ria Borta. Absolutely awesome, superb. Ria Borta, 2 hours 27 and 24. And that concludes our podium for today for the ladies' 20-mile race, the longest race of a whole weekend. 20 miles, absolutely superb. Be patient and we'll get the picture for ATW and then we'll be done. And then we'll be on with the music.
Okay, before we launch into some things I liked and didn't like about this shoe, let's go through some key stats for those that know nothing about the Ray Tokyo. So it's one of the lightest running shoes out there on the market. In my 9.5, I went up half a size just because it is a very narrow torpedo-like fit and I've got quite wide feet. So I went up, half a size, and in my 9.5, it weighs in at a ridiculously low weight of 133 grams. So if you compare that with some other shoes, like say the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0, which is over 200 grams, even the Metaspeed Tokyo and, even the Metaspeed Sky Tokyo and Edge Tokyos, they're up at around 180, 160. So this is a remarkably light shoe. And there are some reasons for that, which we'll go through later in the video. But for those of you that really like a lightweight shoe, it's going to tick that box for sure. In terms of stack height, you've got your traditional for ASICS Metaspeed 39.5 in the heel. It actually looks more than that, doesn't it? It looks like a huge wedge there, but it is 39.5. And you've got 34.5 in the forefoot, which I like because I land here. I like as much foam in the forefoot as possible. So I quite like low drops. So it is a low drop, this shoe. So just bear that in mind. For those of you that might have an issue with that 5mm low drop, it will feel like, if you're landing here, it will feel like you might get a bit of extra pressure on those calves. Something just to bear in mind. But actually, to be honest, and we'll go through that in the more in the review, you don't want to be landing back here anyway. Or if you do, it wants to be very light and you need to transition quickly through to the forefoot. In terms of the upper, you've got a really lightweight micro mesh upper. You've got these nice saw ridged laces. You've got a flimsy tongue, as best I can say. It's very flimsy and a little bit too short for my liking. You've got minimal padding around the heel, as you might expect with such a light shoe. It's like this horseshoe here and that's it. The rest of it has pretty much no padding. It's got a semi-flexible heel counter. You can see, pretty flexible to be honest. And all in all, I got a half decent lockdown. I did do a runner's loop that you can see there. And that helped me, when I cinched the laces in, it helped me keep my foot and ankle in place. The fact that this is quite a narrow shoe also helps in that regard. The only thing I did, I felt a little bit of slippage with my foot slightly slipping down the shoe. I didn't feel that at all during the 10K that I ran previously in, but this race I did feel that a little bit. I think as I got tired, my form disintegrated a little bit towards the end of that race. My foot strike was a bit all over the place, and that kind of affected the way my foot was moving within the shoe. But that said, I think the lockdown's pretty good in this upper. And all in all, I think the upper's a great upper. It is so lightweight. You can see, look, you can see my fingers through it. You'll see your socks through it as well. I just feel like the one area that I would think they could improve on is provide a better tongue with a bit more padding so you can really cinch those laces in tight and get an even better lockdown in this shoe. But all in all, I would give this 4.5 or 5 out of 5 upper. It's pretty close to perfection in my view, particularly for a race shoe. Outsole, now this gets interesting now. Now have a look at this. This outsole is already, this exposed foam is already getting chewed up. You can see it a little bit here as well. Okay, and here. So where we've got the rubber coverage, obviously that grip is really good. It works really well. But I land up here, right? This is where I'm landing in this exposed foam and it's already getting chewed up. Let me get that a lot closer, you can see. So I just wonder from a durability point of view, how long this is going to last. That course that I ran in, there are quite a lot of areas with bits of gravel. You know, you're going over woodland tracks with stones. And I think because I'm landing just here and I'm toeing off, I think a lot of the force went down in this part of the shoe, and that's why you're getting that exposed foam getting chewed off. I kind of wish, I understand the science about having this big area of exposed foam, but I do feel like I just wish they'd fill that in with rubber, and then we'll get a bit more durability out of this shoe for people like me. You can see as well, you've got this nice curve here, so it kind of goes like that inwards in the middle, and that's quite nice when you land for toeing off. So all in all, not the most durable of outsoles. I think not the most durable of shoes, full stop. I think I'll probably score it 3.5, 4 out of 5 for an outsole. It just needs more rubber, right? Even though I know this is meant to be as light as possible, and you only meant to use this for races, that was still a race that I did on Sunday, and it's really chewing up this shoe. So that's what I say about the outsole. Don't expect these shoes, I think, to last a long time. Midsole, amazing midsole, but you can already see how creased it's starting to get. Look at that. Can you see that? That's 2 races in this shoe. That's probably about 40-50k now done in this shoe, and already it's looking like it's been out in the sun too long. It's become prune-like in its in its skin. So I'm feeling like, again, the midsole's not going to last huge amount of time. This foam is going to break down pretty quick. What I would say is the aliphatic TPU foam is amazing, so lightweight. You get some really nice compression, decompression. I love the geometry of the shoe. I love this early stage rocker. It's so bouncy and fun to run in. Even on that terrain which was uneven in places, I didn't find this the most unstable shoe. The only problem is when you're doing those tight turns. So there were a lot of those U-turns where you're having to turn back quickly. It is very unstable at doing those quick turns, but if you're going in a straight line, even if the floor is slightly uneven, I think this isn't too bad. As long as you're landing up here somewhere and you're watching your foot strike, you don't get a hugely irregular bounce of this shoe. It's fairly good and stable. It helps that it's got that half plate, that teardrop plate up here, and it's stabilised things a bit. I can't vouch for back here because I was pretty consistent in that race. Although my form dropped at the end, I stayed at least around the midfoot to forefoot area. Didn't venture back here. I think it will be very unstable back here without any kind of stabilising plate. But all in all, this FF Leap foam, this aliphatic TPU did its job. I got really nice compression, decompression, and for a good half marathon of that 20-mile race, it was performing really well. I was performing really well. It was only when I got tired did I feel like maybe the Puma Fast Star Natural Elite 3, maybe at that point I wanted that shoe on my foot, because that's got a wider platform, a bit more of a springboard to land on. And as I remembered in the half marathon I did in that shoe, just got better and better. And I have a feeling for a full marathon, that's going to be the shoe that just when your form starts to go, because it has a wider base, it starts to get a bit easier to keep going in that shoe. And I found towards the end of that 20-mile run, that 20-mile race, it was a bit hard going. And I think that was mainly because my fitness levels aren't quite there yet, but I also think it is quite a narrow base, so you do have to concentrate a bit. And I remember thinking quite a lot towards the end of the race, Ed, keep your form well. Watch your foot strike, because if you don't in this shoe, you're going to have problems. And I think that in itself, having to think that way, gives you kind of a bit of anxiety and mental strain that you ideally don't want towards the end of a marathon. But that said, I'm nitpicking really. This midsole was incredible for the majority of that race, and if I get myself a bit fitter, that might not become an issue at all for New York. I just need to be a bit fitter. I need to tire less towards the end of those long races, and then this shoe I think will keep going. And it did keep me going, to be fair. This midsole kept me bouncing along. And while others were faltering, I passed quite a few runners who were, really struggling in that race. Which, by the way, there was a lot of people that were in real trouble on oxygen. So for those people, if any of you are watching, I wish you a speedy recovery. It wasn't easy out there. It was warm, a bit muggy. And I think people underestimated that even though it's along its duration, it's fairly a flat course in terms of total elevation. There are lots of ups and downs across bridges, and that takes it out of your legs. Not being able to kind of set a consistent pace, always having to adjust going uphill and downhill. There wasn't like really long hills, but there were these humpback bridges, quite a few of those, and a few underpasses and overpasses that kind of break your flow when you're running, and that can have an effect on your endurance and also how you're feeling in the race, because you start to tire. That where it's breaking up your pace like that, it starts to make you feel a bit more tired than you might normally if it was a fairly flat race. But it's good practice for me for New York, because those bridges are like times 20 in New York. The size of those humpback bridges will be a lot more, so I need to get myself conditioned for that. So midsole, I'm rambling a bit. Midsole's a great midsole. It's a 5 out of 5 midsole still for me. You just have to be on good form with this shoe. If you want to go fast in this shoe and consistently fast over a long race, you need good form. And so you need to be going into the race very confident you're going to keep some level of form even when you're starting to tire a lot towards the end. Stability then, as you imagine, it's not the most stable shoe. If you keep up here, you can have not a stable ride, but you can have a ride where you don't feel like you're going to break an ankle any minute. I found it was very undulating, this course, and the ground was uneven, and I managed to hold it together. Did have to concentrate, and I think that's something I wouldn't have to do so much in the Puma Fast Star Nitro Elite 3, so I don't think this is quite as stable as that shoe. There is no sole flare whatsoever, so it's a very narrow landing pad. You've got no structure at all really in the upper. You've got a tiny bit at the back here for your heel. So all in all, there are no stability features. So you have to rely on good form, and you have to rely on your mental strength and remembering things like correct foot strike and etc, etc. So don't buy this if you've got stability needs. And again, I will mention it again, if you're landing back here, this is a very unstable shoe. Feels a lot more wobbly in the heel than it does in the forefoot. Of course, if you're landing very lightly and you're transitioning quick through midfoot to forefoot, then you'll probably get away with it. But this won't be for everyone, this shoe. Durability, as we've seen, it's getting chewed up already. It's if stability is like a 2.5 out of 5, durability is going to be around about 2 out of 5. Don't expect the Ray to last particularly long. As a super shoe goes, this is one of the less durable ones I'm pretty sure about. So save it for your big races. I won't be doing any more racing in this shoe. Maybe a 5k, a fast 5k, but that'll be it. Speed, obviously a very fast shoe. I don't feel like it's quite as fast as the Fast Star Nitro Elite 3 though. I feel that's just a shoe at a different level to all the other shoes. I know some people really like the Sky Tokyo, and I think that shoe, you've got that high configuration of the plate, so you do engage that plate a lot in that shoe, more than you do in the Ray. It's not quite as soft as the Ray. It's got that FF Turbo Peba foam, which is a little bit firmer. This is all the FF Elite, the softer foam. And so in terms of speed, you do have a little bit of a sink in this shoe, but because of the geometry and because of the plate, you do roll forward nicely, so you can pick up the pace in this shoe. I would say that the Puma Fastol Natural Elite 3 is probably my fastest shoe, maybe the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0, and then this shoe. The good thing about this shoe though is how bouncy and comfortable, lovely it is to run in. So it's kind of unique to get a shoe this fast that's also lovely and bouncy and fun to run in. So, you know, think about that yourselves, because that's important, particularly when you're going a long way like a marathon. Good for, I think now I'm confident I could run a marathon in this shoe. I'm just not confident at this moment whether it's the best shoe for me to run a marathon in. I'm going to have to weigh up all those factors and how I feel when I get closer to race day in New York. But definitely a marathon. I think it's versatile. I think 5K all the way up to marathon. I think the sweet spot is somewhere possibly between 10K and a half marathon for this shoe. I think a marathon, you know, you have to have good form. So when your form starts to falter, this is quite a narrow base to be landing on. And for 5K, I think because it's slightly softer, you're better off with something a little bit firmer, like the Puma Fastol Natural Elite 3, or maybe even like the Street Fly 2, where you can get away with something a bit firmer, you know, a bit more responsive and a bit more energy return. Overall, I think this coped really well through the 20-mile race. I would now recommend this for marathon distance. Like I said, you need to be landing up here. You need to enjoy that kind of rockhead feeling. You need to be going nowhere near the heel and being confident for a long distance that you won't be heel striking. You need to be okay with how lightweight and unstructured the upper is. If you've got wide feet like me, you'll feel like you're kind of moving across the platform a bit, like over the side of the platform a bit. You just have to embrace that, get used to that, particularly going round those tight corners. But now that I run 20 miles in it and got a decent time, I did 2 hours 14. Previous race I did last year was 2 hours 13, same race. But that year, I think it wasn't quite as hot during the race. I was further on in my marathon training when I ran that race. So 2 hour 14, looking back, even though I was a little bit disappointed with the time, it's always nice to try and improve your time from the previous year. And if you don't do it, you feel like you've let yourself down a little bit. You know, I have to be kinder to myself, because I think that was a good time, given the fact that I'm less fit than I was this time last year. And also the race itself, I was running a lot on my own this time round. I felt like there was less quicker runners this year, and I managed to get in the top 10. You know, I got 8th or 9th, whereas the year before I was down at sort of 14th or so. The Bedford race, you know, the course itself is a bit of a weird one. You do a lot of loops, repetition of areas of the course. You do some kind of like out and backs, quick U-turns. Because you're doing a 20-mile race at the same time as they're doing a half marathon, gets a bit confusing. I just think ideally it would be run at a different time to the half marathon. So you wouldn't start following a half marathon runner, for instance, down an area of the course that you shouldn't be going because you're doing the 20-mile, or vice versa. So I think that's something they could look at. But all in all, I think it's a really nicely organised. I love the festival at the end. There's nice food there. You can get a drink, a beer if you like. There's music. And I think Bedford should be proud of putting on such a lovely running festival that attracts so many people. Like I said earlier, there were one or two people that had a nightmare, and I could see them being provided oxygen by ambulances. I think it was a really tough day, because I think people weren't, you know, it warmed up very quickly in the morning. I don't think people were ready for that. So I really hope everyone recovers well, you know, and, you know, can look back at it. I hope it doesn't put you off running, because everyone goes through something a bit like that, where you're not feeling well during races. And, you know, it's about putting that beyond you and getting back running, because it's a good, I was going to say it's a good experience. It's not a good experience, but it's something that you'll remember for the next time you run, to avoid those scenarios again. Make sure you're fueling properly. Make sure you're taking on enough water. And, you know, always, it's the men that I see in this kind of precarious state. Always make sure you don't go off too quick. Stick to the plan and you'll be fine. And that's all I want to say today. Thumbs up to the Ray. I think it's a fabulous shoe. I haven't changed my mind on it. I just feel maybe the Fast Star is the quickest shoe, and that's edging it for New York, but I probably need to take that on one more longer race and see how it does, just to be 100% sure, because that's a firmer shoe. It's not as nice a feeling shoe as the Ray, but it is a very effective shoe, a very efficient shoe. That might just mean that I go with the that option. Who knows? I have to think about it. In the comments, put any more information you want to know about this shoe. And yeah, I'll see you soon. I hope you enjoy the video. And yeah, please subscribe to the channel. I'm getting near 1,000 subscribers now, so it's close. I have a big party celebration on that day. But yeah, just generally, I hope you're enjoying. And if you are thinking about buying this shoe, let me know if you've got any questions. And please like and subscribe, click the bell. And thank you all for supporting my channel. It's much appreciated. I hope you're getting some value out of these videos. Let me know if there's anything I should change, any more comparisons you want to see with the Ray, that kind of thing. And I'll see you soon. Love you all. Bye.
Have a drink or something at the end. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, sorry, I was looking.